Hi everyone, Kim here from Tiny Creations by Kim. Happy World Prematurity Day. Prematurity is when a baby is born before term, and term is technically 37 weeks. Full term is 40 weeks, but any babies born before 37 are premature. 2 of the 3 of my children were born premature. There's Carly yelling at me like usual. My son Brayson, hang on 1 second. She couldn't reach her toy. My son Brayson, he was born at 28 weeks, so gestation, so he was about 3 months early. And my daughter Mackenzie, she was born at 34 weeks, so she was about 6 weeks early. And I just wanted to share my experience, share my story with you guys. For anyone interested or anyone going through something similar, I know for me it was the hardest time of my life, so it was really nice for me to hear stories from other people. So I wanted to share this with you guys. I have scrapbooks that I made for my children. I make them up to 2 years old, from birth to 2 years. So as I'm going through their story, I'm going to show you their scrapbooks. And I'm really sorry for the background noise. But I actually pre-recorded the videos where I'm explaining their scrapbooks. So, and I don't believe there's any noise in those videos, so we should be good. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to go through Brayson first. Okay, so here's Brayson's ultrasound pictures. That was like my favorite time, is getting the ultrasounds done. That's just one of my favorite things about pregnancy, is just getting to see them. Alright, so Brayson, let's see. It was Easter 2011, and I was having some stomach pains. I wasn't sure what it was. He's my first child, so I wasn't sure what to expect for contractions. So I called the doctor. They said, come in. Sure enough, I was having contractions, and they gave me every medication you could imagine under the sun, pumped me full of stuff. I just felt absolutely awful because of the medications they were giving me, and it was not very fun, but we were trying to stop little Brayson from coming, which did not work. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I was in full-blown labor, 10 centimeters dilated. They weren't able to give me any pain medication, so I did have him completely natural. And he actually came out screaming and crying, which they did not expect to be happening. I did receive 1 round of steroid injections right before I had him. They'd like for you to have 2. I think it's 24 hours apart, but I didn't make it that far. That helps speed up their lung development, and I believe that is one of the biggest problems in preemies, is their underdeveloped lungs. And thankfully, Brayson did come out screaming. He only had to be intubated once, which that is what this picture shows. It's a very blurry picture already, so it's kind of hard to see. He was intubated, and this was the isolette he was put in to transfer him from the hospital I delivered him at to their main location where they had a better NICU. So he only had to be intubated once, but he did have to be on oxygen for a long time. He did come home on oxygen, so he was able to come off that about 3 weeks after he got home. But here's his pictures. He was born 2 pounds, 10 ounces, and was 15 3/4 inches long. He was a tiny little guy. Here's pictures of my baby shower. This was very, very hard for me because I was not pregnant at my baby shower. This was really upsetting for me. This was a hard time. Having a premature baby is just the hardest thing ever, because they tell you it's going to be a roller coaster ride, and that's exactly what it was. He had a lot of problems that would come up with infections and problems with his eyes. He almost went blind, but it actually resolved on its own. It's called retinopathy of prematurity. So that actually resolved all on its own. He had a PDA, which is an open duct in your heart that usually closes off after birth, but did not close off in his case. And that I believe it makes you retain extra fluid, and it affects your breathing. So he had a bunch of other things that happened also. This is a CPAP machine, and what this does is it pushes air. It's like pressurized air, just to help them breathe a little bit better. And thankfully, by God's grace, he healed our little beautiful miracle, and we have him home with us today. And I just wanted to say, anyone out there, if you've lost a baby or you're dealing with this, I am so sorry. and my prayers go out to you. It is so unbelievably hard. I couldn't imagine losing your beautiful baby, and I just pray for you, and I'm just so sorry, and it really hurts my heart. And I pray for happiness and comfort through all the lives of all the men and women and families who are going through this or who have gone through this. This was when Brayson finally came home. He was in the hospital for 8 weeks. I believe he was 4 pounds, I think 15 ounces when he came home. And this was just the best time ever. It's so hard having this baby in your belly with you for so long, and them coming out and being taken from you, and then you're not even able to have them with you. So that's what's really, really hard, is that separation. And you're not, as a mother, you have that urge to protect. This was actually 4 generations here. My son, of course, me. This was my grandma, who actually just passed away in July. And that's my mom here. But yeah, it's just very hard. And I'm just so thankful that I have him, and he's healthy today. Here's some of his pictures. This was in July, and this is when he was due. He was due in July. Here's my sweet little boy. So yeah, I'm just so thankful. He's healthy today. He has no effects of prematurity whatsoever so far. So we're very thankful for that. My little chubby boy. It was funny, one thing real quick. He was put on this formula to gain weight. It had extra calories in it. And he was on that for a while, and I remember we went to one of his specialist doctors, and they're asking me, is he still on that extra calorie formula? NeoSure? And I'm like, yes. He's like, okay, you can take him off that. Because he was so chubby. So there's my special boy. And I'll skip to the 2-year-old pictures. Look at that little grumpy, sassy face. Alright, so here is Brayson and his story. I believe I shared everything with you that I wanted to share, and now I'm going to move on to Mackenzie. Okay, so here is Mackenzie's scrapbook, and with her I was monitored a lot more closely. I was given progesterone injections every week for, I think it starts at about 15 weeks to I think 35 weeks, and that's to try to keep her in longer. The progesterone injections is supposed to act as like a smooth muscle relaxer, so it's supposed to relax the uterus to avoid having contractions, which I think it did work somewhat, because I only had her 6 weeks early. So here is her reveal party. We did a reveal with her. We got a cake made, and we cut it open with all of our family and friends, and it was pink. And that was just so exciting to me. I was so happy. Here's the invitation that we had made and some of her ultrasound pictures. Okay, so let's see. It was April. I was in and out of the hospital a lot with contractions and preterm labor. And they had given me all kinds of medications throughout my hospital visits. One thing I was given was magnesium sulfate. Now, they don't give you that. They give you that as a last resort. They first try to pump you with fluids, make sure you're not dehydrated. They give you these terbutaline injections that are supposed to help with calm down contractions. They give you all kinds of stuff. And then the last resort is magnesium sulfate. And that stuff is not fun. I'm just going to say that. But again, we do these things to try to keep our babies in as long as we can. So, you know, in the end, it's all worth it. And with her, I was able to get steroid injections. They have you, like I said previously, they like you to have them, I believe it's 24 hours. I want to say 12 or 24. I'm pretty sure it's 24 hours apart. And that speeds up the lungs. And with her, I did get both injections. So here she is, and she was born by C-section because she was sideways, and my contractions were continuing. They were not easing up. She was 4 pounds, 9 ounces, 17 3/4 inches, and she did really well. She never needed to be on oxygen. She was only in the hospital for 9 days. She did wonderful. The only problem she had was maintaining her body temperature. And other than that, she did great. And she's just a little bit smaller. And to this day, she is actually very tall for her age. She's in the 95th percentile. So people think she's a 3 or 4-year-old, and she's only 2.5. So here's her pictures, and she has no effects either so far, being premature. Such a big difference between Brayson and her. Brayson was about 12 weeks early, and she was 6 weeks, and the difference is just unbelievable. Here she is, my cute girl. Oh my goodness, I miss them being so little. And then with Carly, my daughter, she's almost 1. I was monitored extremely close with her. I was given those progesterone shots. I had doctor appointments a lot more frequently than I had my previous pregnancies. And I actually had my cervix sewn shut. It's called a cervical cerclage. I had a procedure a couple years ago where they had to pretty much burn some cells off my cervix. So I was high risk because of that and because of the premature deliveries. So they decided just to sew me shut. And that must have worked because she was born at 37 weeks and 3 days, I think. And here's my pretty girl now. She's just doing wonderfully. They're both doing wonderful. I'm so thankful. God has truly blessed us. And I just couldn't be more happy. And there's one of my preemies right now. Do you want to say hi? Please excuse the laundry. Do you want to say hi? Block the laundry out. Hi. Yeah, I have a lot of laundry to do. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if anyone has any questions or anything, or wants to talk to me about it, you are more than welcome. I'm going to put my email in below if you want to contact me at all. So thank you guys so much for watching, and God bless.